Hi, this is Benjamin Toops from the CloudForest team, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to perform an NLDR in CloudForest. So this tutorial, a text version, is also available on the CloudForest website, and in this tutorial we're going to be using a sample trees file that you can access through that written tutorial. So to begin here, once you are inside CloudForest on your computer, you're going to come over to the left side of your screen, and the first thing we want to do is upload our data. So we can do that by selecting Get Data and Upload File. We're going to select Choose Local File and browse to find that sample.trees file that we've provided wherever you have stored it on your computer. So we're going to select it, select Start to begin the upload process. And on the right side of your screen, you're going to see that file pop up and it'll turn green once it's been processed and it's ready to use. Okay, so now that our file's uploaded, the first thing we're going to want to do is calculate a distance matrix. So on the left side of your screen in the Tools panel, we're going to select CloudForest and scroll down to treescaper-trees. So this should auto-populate with our sample.trees file, but if not, you should be able to select it through this drop-down menu here. Our output type we want to leave as dist since we're calculating the distance matrix here. And distance metric, here you can select whichever of the available distance metrics you'd like to use. For this tutorial, we're going to use the unweighted Robinson folds distance. We're going to use unweighted trees and unrooted trees, so you can leave those as default, and everything else also can be left as default here. You're going to scroll down and select execute, and that will start the jobs. So I urge you, once you finish running through with our sample data, I urge you to try this with some trees of your own. There's a lot of really interesting things that can be gleaned from NLDRs, and they're also a lot of fun to do. So I urge you, once we're through with this tutorial, maybe go back and try using some trees of your own. So on the right side of your screen on the history panel, you can see our jobs are yellow there as they're in progress, and it should take just a moment for them to turn green and when they finish. Okay, so now that our jobs are finished, we've calculated the distance matrix, as you can see here. And going back to the tool panel, we're going to scroll down and select treescaper-NLDR. So this should populate with the distance matrix we've just calculated, but again, if not, you can select it from the drop-down here. Euclidean dimension, this is the number of dimensions we want to project our tree space into. So here, usually this would be 2 or 3 dimensions, although higher dimensionality analyses are also available. So we're going to leave this as 3 dimensions for this tutorial. For cost function, NLDR algorithm, and the Euclidean coordinates, we're going to leave those values as default. However, if you're interested in learning more about the options available here, you can do so on the CloudForest website and through the Treescaper manual. So we're going to leave those as their default values, CCA and stochastic, and come down and select execute to begin running the NLDR. Once again, you'll see those jobs populate in the history panel, and they will turn yellow as they run, and it'll take just a moment for them to finish and turn green. So one thing we can do here while we're waiting for those to finish, to visualize results in CloudForest, we first have to log into the Galaxy platform. So you can do that here, go up to the top and select login or register. If you don't have an account, you can select register here. Here, I'm just going to log in using my credentials. Okay, and now that we're back, we can see that our NLDR coordinates have been calculated, so we can go ahead and visualize those results. Coming up to the top to the Visualize dropdown, we're going to select Create Visualization and scroll down to the CloudForest visualization and select Create Visualization. Okay, now at the top here, we want to visualize our NLDR. So under the NLDR tab, we're going to select the NLDR coordinates file that we've just calculated. So scrolling down, you can see this is the NLDR, the 3D NLDR we've just generated from our trees. You can kind of pan around using the camera, and you can see here that each dot in this graph represents an individual tree. So again, if you remember our sample trees file, again, this is 900 trees with 300 from 3 different genes in that 900 set. So it looks like there's 3 pretty distinct clusters of trees here. So to see if those clusters line up with their gene identity, we can go ahead and color those however we would like. So scrolling down to the bottom here, we're going to select subset plot, enter tree indices, and you can follow this sort of format here to index the trees however you would like. You can also load an index file or index by every nth trees. Here we're going to do the first 300 as black, the second 300 as red, and the third 300 as blue. And we're going to select execute to color those. So this will reload the page. And when we come back in, we can see that indeed it looks like the trees are segregated based on their gene identity with these 3 really distinct clusters. So that's a pretty cool thing to see. And this is just an example, one example of the kind of thing that you can do using NLDR. It's a really cool tool. Again, I encourage you to go back and try it using some of your own trees. Or maybe redo the same analysis using 2D to see how the results look in 2D. And in the future, we're also going to be using community detection algorithms to see how trees are segmented into communities using that community detection. So that can be done on an NLDR, and you can pair the results there. So definitely be on the lookout for a future tutorial where we talk about how to do that. Thanks for your time, and wish you all the best.